Hello and welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time. So today we're diving into a book that really challenges our basic understanding of power. We're taught that influence should be open, it should be fair, and it should be direct. But what if that's dangerously incomplete? What if the real game is being played by a whole different set of rules?
This quote, right from the book's preface, just nails the ideal we're all expected to live up to in our modern world. Politeness, fairness, transparency, these are supposed to be the currencies of our everyday interactions.
But that brings up a huge question, doesn't it? What if, while we're all busy focusing on that civilized surface, there's a much older, much more ruthless game of influence being played just out of sight? Well, the book we're covering today argues that's exactly what's happening. And that guide is Robert Greene's hugely influential and, pretty controversial book, The 48 Laws of Power. Now, it doesn't describe how power should work. Not at all. It describes how it has worked for thousands of years, pulling back the curtain on the strategies of queens, courtiers, and con artists.
The book's core idea is pretty simple. Real, lasting power is almost never direct. It operates through what Greene calls the art of indirection. It's subtle, it's strategic, and a lot of the time, it looks like something else entirely.
We tend to think of power as force, right? Making demands, giving orders, being the loudest voice in the room. But Greene argues this is just a clumsy and inefficient way to get what you want. Overt power moves just create resentment and resistance.
Instead, it's all about mastering appearances. It's about seduction, charm, deception, and subtle strategy. In the world Greene describes, how you are perceived is often way more important than the reality of your intentions or even your actions.
So, how in the world do you master this hidden game? Well, the book breaks down several core principles that really illustrate this whole idea of indirection. First up, reputation. Greene argues it's not just about how people see you, it is an active tool that can win battles for you before they even start. A strong reputation can intimidate rivals and attract allies, often without you lifting a single finger.
Your reputation is like armor. Once it's damaged, you're left completely vulnerable. According to Greene, you have to guard it with your life, always be alert to potential attacks, and even learn how to poke a few holes in the reputations of your enemies.
The second principle is all about mastering your own emotions. And why is that so critical? Because the book is crystal clear on this. An emotional response is the single biggest tactical mistake you can make. Anger, desperation, even infatuation, those feelings cloud your reason. And when you can't see a situation clearly, you can't respond with control. And boom, you instantly hand the advantage to your opponent.
Finally, there's the cold, hard logic of self-interest. The book argues that if you want to influence someone, asking for help based on past favors or appealing to their mercy is a really weak foundation. The most effective lever, the one that almost always moves people, is their own self-interest. If you can frame your requests so that others see a clear benefit for themselves, you'll find their resistance just melts away.
Now, to help tie all these ideas together, the book uses this really powerful metaphor of the world as a giant, intricate stage.
And if the world is a stage, well then, we are all actors. Greene argues that you have to become a conscious performer, choosing your masks, managing your gestures, and carefully deciding what parts of your true intentions you reveal. In this world, success isn't about authenticity, it's about being a convincing actor.
Now look, it's easy to dismiss this book as cynical or manipulative, and you know what? That's a valid critique. However, the author argues that ignoring these power dynamics is actually far more dangerous.
And this gets us to the central debate. Is this book a Machiavellian guide for manipulators? Or is it really a manual for self-defense, a way to understand and protect yourself from the tactics that are already being used all around you and on you every single day? The book takes an amoral stance, but its real value might just be in that awareness.
Ultimately, the book's bottom line is this: you cannot opt out of the game of power. Trying to do so, according to Greene, just makes you a pawn in someone else's strategy. So, since we're all on the board anyway, isn't it better to understand the rules and become a skilled artist of the game rather than deny it exists and end up an unwitting victim? This explainer was based on the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Crisis in Perception is free to watch and listen to. Supporters on Patreon help fund the research and production that make this work possible. For the full, long-form deep dive into this book and its ideas, follow the link in the description.
If you enjoy these explainers, please subscribe and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.